Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers Season 4 finale. Episode 21 of Dawnbringers Heart of Nightfang Spire. The finale is entitled, Where the Heart Is. And I can already see V reminding me that I have now seen 3 subs go out before we even got started here. So I'm going to make sure I get these remaining 3 taken care of. There we go. Dawnbringers, you are loaded up with 150 domain dice. In case you're wondering what domain dice are actually being described at the bottom of the screen right now. Excuse me, as well as in the chat through the chat command domain dice. It is our way that you can have an influence on what happens in the game through a $5 tip, through a 500-bit cheer, a subscription, a resubscription, raids, all those good things. Earn domain dice for the Dawnbringers, and they can do a whole bunch of cool things, such as making me re-roll a d20, re-rolling a d20 themselves, getting access to healing outside of a rest by using hit dice. They can turn failed death saves into successful ones, and they can turn critical hits, or rather hits, into super criticals, which are automatic double max damage critical hits. And with this being the finale and a big time battle, I will not be surprised to see some of those domain dice flying off the overlay. And we'll see how those go. But as you keep donating your subscriptions or gifting subscriptions or whatever you're doing, you are supporting the channel and you're supporting the players. A couple other quick announcements here, and then we'll get into a brief recap, and then we're going to get into this finale action here. So, of course, I want to draw you to the fact that the domain dice patron himself, Joey P, has just shown up with that finale boost of 20 domain dice. Thank you as always, Joey. We're going to go ahead for the first time ever. Let's see, I need to turn off this. And for the first time ever, you guys are going to be at 170 domain dice.
Sweet.
There we go. See, I made instead of having them all keyed in separately, I made one I can just key in as I need to. We might get to play if you want to keep gifting, you go right ahead and keep gifting. I'll keep changing this number. You're at 175 domain dice now, thanks to another boost of 5 gift subscriptions. Let me change that. There's 170 there. There we go. But that's easy for me to change on the fly as you all continue with your generous donations. We are almost back up to 100 subscriptions once again after the new month came in. So, as I was saying, for the last time, if you look in the lower left-hand corner under our season's mascot, Yesferatu, you will see the various logos. That's the word. I couldn't find the word. For some of our partners. Jasper's Game Day. You can type !Jasper in the chat. Jasper's Game Day is a partner of Mini Terrain Domains, or rather, we are partnered with them. A fantastic organization dedicated to raising awareness, education, and ultimately the prevention of suicide through tabletop gaming. Through that direct link, you can donate to them. All money goes to benefit the Teen Crisis Suicide Line, the National Suicide Lifeline, education programs, and crisis centers around the country. So know that if you donate to that charitable organization, your money is going to a very worthy cause. Another way that you can help out the cause and get a little something for yourself is through our partnership with Initiative Coffee's Help Action. as Jeremy has just done typing !coffee in the chat. We'll bring up the link where you can get Metadare roast coffee. For every 12-ounce bag of this coffee that you get, $3 of that will go to benefit Jasper's Game Day. It is a delicious coffee that I kind of wish I was drinking right now. It's still good coffee. It's just not Metadare roast. But I've got to get some more on order. It is Dwight and I, the Big Bearded Nerd, and we personally selected this roast. Let's see, next up, of course, we have our sponsor that you can get a link to by typing !MTD Claw. Talon and Claw are makers of fine wooden dice accessories. This awesome dice vault is just one of the many things that they make, including DM screens, dice towers, dice trays, coasters. They just released some new spell slot trackers. All kinds of cool stuff. You go there, you pick out what you want, use code MTDClaw at checkout, and you'll get 10% off your purchase, and you will be helping to support the channel. So please be sure to check out our sponsor. A huge thank you to D&D Beyond for granting us insider access. I get all of my compendium information through D&D Beyond. All of the characters are visible on the overlay, which I did fix thanks to a subtle text message from the Big Bearded Nerd. So it is now showing you the Dawnbringers stats instead of the Curse of Strahd Fang Club stats. So be sure to check those out. And let's see, what else do we have? You can type !schedule to see some of what is going on, what we've got going on the channel. I'm going to be updating that very soon because Dwight and I have been hard at work figuring out what our new schedule is going to be. We're going to be moving the Beards and Brushes stream to Friday nights here in a couple of weeks to lead into Alan's Curse of Strahd game. We're going to be spinning back up the Dungeon of the Mad Mage campaign with Dwight at the helm. D&D Jordan is going to be joining us in that game along with a friend of ours who has appeared once on the stream during Jasper's Game Week, our friend Ricky. And of course, when they are back and available, M, who you also know from this game, will be continuing in their role in that one. And we just had this past Tuesday, V and the rest of the crazy crew that I've put myself before as the dungeon master. We've got Stonefly Kai, Goblin Katie, the Dr. B, we've got DM Jizzy Hands, and we've got V. As we
You've
got
your hands full, honey.
Yes, I do. As we are preparing to take you on a series of adventures for the next couple of months, we are going to be running through Harper's Tale, an incredible campaign book. And after spending a couple hours with all of these fine folks on Tuesday, I can tell you this is going to be a fine blend of wonderful adventure and absolute chaos and I mean that in the best way. So you are not going to want to miss that game as well. All right. The last thing I want to say before we get started is, of course, one of the most important things that we tell you before every game, and it is that you matter. I'm sorry, but you don't have a choice in that. You matter. There is somebody out there that believes in you, and that your presence on this earth makes a difference too, whether or not you believe that. And you can count us among those that believe that you matter. So we do acknowledge, though, that it can be difficult to accept that. It can be difficult to believe that. But we are very open about mental health here, and always have been. You should not feel any shame for needing to reach out for help. Jeremy has just typed in the chat command !help, which you can do at any time, whether we are streaming or not. You can come here, type that in, And those resources, the National Suicide Lifeline, the Canadian line, the Canadian text line, and there is a link there at opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines. If you follow that link, you will find phone numbers and text resources and other things for pretty much every country in the world that has those type of resources available. So we encourage you to please, if you need somebody to talk to, reach out to those numbers. Whichever one is applicable to you, there's somebody you can talk to. No matter what your struggle is. I know it says National Suicide Lifeline, but they are there to take your call. So please use those resources. I do believe I have effectively covered everything that we would normally do in a pregame, so it is time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. All right. For quite some time, the Dawnbringers have been making their way to and then through the Nightfang Spire, sort of essentially getting shanghaied into this, getting roped into this mission by way of a Feywild island, and the storm giant emissary that told you to come this way made it pretty clear that this was an important thing for you to do, to destroy the heart. The more time you spend here, you've begun to realize just how important an issue this is. Learning, of course, that the Nightfang Spire is home to the vampire Gulthias, who was inadvertently resurrected when Griveth destroyed the Gulthias tree in the Sunless Citadel. He was was able to return to the Spire and regain power and prominence and begin assembling an army and reassembling the cult of the dragon that worships the ancient dragon Ashardalon. Also along the way, Cantriel has discovered that she is a descendant of Ashardalon by way of her father, who she very recently learned was a half-dragon of the blood of Ashardalon. And that blood courses through her veins as well. Very, very recently, as they assembled the 4 pieces of the bronze dragon key and turned it in the lock, they were all subjected to a series of memories, visions, not really sure. Some of them seem to tell the story of Gulthias' retrieval of the heart from a battleground, perhaps centuries ago. Some of them showed each of their involvement with their dragon patron, the Lady Vantage, who herself had been revealed to most of them as a bronze dragon in Saltmarsh. Each of them learned that they had been, for over 100 years, they have been worked like puppets, worked like chess pieces, manipulated around some game board that they aren't even sure what they are playing, what game they are exactly playing. Griveth learned that he is one of 2 living descendants of Dyed the Wise, the druid responsible for killing Ashardalon, or at the very least, what should have killed him, and removing his heart. Drown learned that his good friend Valorin the dwarf was manipulated into coming to those lands, and though they formed a genuine friendship, it was through the manipulation of this dragon that they came there, and that ultimately Drown is on the path he is now because of those manipulations. Cantriel learning that her parents and her sister and brother, or rather reaffirming this was not news to her per se, but definitely seeing that there was a deeper manipulation involved by the Lady Vantage. Gerithan, who believed himself to be caught up in a spellular? I'm just making up words now.
Spell you later.
in an arcane swap, where he and the Clockwork Wizard Fig swapped places while he was on a mission through the Underdark to find the Adamantine Tower, or fortress. And just upon reaching it, he found himself transported here with the Dawnbringers. That was his way home, or so he thought. But through these visions, he learned that he had been manipulated to believe this through memory modifications by the Lady Vantage. Thorgarn learned that the ever-present Father Geffen, the spirit of a former mentor and party member that is always over his shoulder, watching. This very Father Geffen and an earlier adventuring party were the ones that slew Gulthias, and it was Father Geffen's hand that drove the broken shaft of his battle axe through the heart of Gulthias, staking him to the ground at the bottom of a rift in the earth, and that axe and that corpse would ultimately eventually grow into the Gulthias tree, the very tree that Griveth destroyed. And Talmud saw through the eyes of Tordak, his grandfather, who had an affair with an elven woman going by the name of Gerithan at the time, and learning that he too had been manipulated ultimately by this elven woman, also having his memory modified. And it is the great maul that Talmud carries by the name Gerithan was named for this same elven woman. And that is where we left off, with these memories sort of playing out. Although I guess I sort of buried the lead on this, that in with all of these manipulation, there was always present a mysterious hooded figure who was revealed to be none other than a platinum dragonborn who could change his appearance, and it was alluded to perhaps he's something more, as he appears to be either an emissary of or directly an aspect of the draconic god Bahamut, who there was whisperings that even he could not, because of something called the Ban of the Unborn, he and the gods could not become involved at a certain point. And that is where we left off. And so, all of you, and this is very important, all of you witnessed all of these revelations. These weren't individual private revelations. It were as if all of you were watching a sort of edited greatest hits from your past. So every one of you have seen the reveals that were made. You hear the continuation of that sound that triggered all of this. The bronze key turning in the lock as Thorgarn has his hand on the key, and you hear a and then a heavy as this spherical room begins to rotate until eventually an archway moves into place. As the archway comes into view, you see, with now that you are all still standing in this antechamber, the rumbling stops. And you now see a large circular room with a dirt floor. Dawnbringers, what would you like to do?
No denizens of this room, just sort of plain dirt floor.
From out here, that's all you see.
All right. So, yeah, there's probably the momentary sound of Drown's knuckles tightening around the wood of the staff and it creaking slightly in protest, and he shakes his head and kind of ducks forward to try and get a better look around the room.
All right, just doing a quick catch up on domain dice here, because they're still giving them to you.
All this build up to a dirt floor? An empty room and a dirt floor?
What, you expected marble and thrones?
I was hoping, yes.
For yourself or for him?
Statues I could topple.
Because that works out well.
Icons I could destroy.
Talmud, like,
this is disappointing.
Talmud is like leaned against the wall for a second, kind of almost like staring down at the floor, but not really looking at the floor. Wait a moment. Was there anything strange that just happened to the rest of you?
Yeah, your grandfather got frisky with an elf.
Oh,
Yes.
the color kind of rises in his face. So all of you saw what it was that I saw.
Everything, dear.
Well, look, it was my granddad that I had to see that way, so trust me, I understand it was disturbing, but it's more bothering that somehow it got into all of our heads and made us see all of those things at the same time, and what it all meant.
Nothing disturbing, all of these revelations, for whatever reason they've come to us. How do we know they're real?
Considering the other shared encounters we've had mentally, I'm not exactly going to put all my trust in everything I see right now. But I'll take note.
We should keep our wits about us. Know that we're getting close. We did a lot to get this key. Let's keep ourselves focused and together. No need for squabbling or arguing. Let's get this done.
Aye. But it could be truth mixed with lies also.
Matters not. Does it change the mission?
No.
We'll deal with that after.
We'll sort it out after.
Good point.
Right. Let's do it.
The room you see before you, as you get a better look at it, is a little more than 20 feet in diameter. You can see an archway on the opposite side with a closed, locked door. Presumably the other entrance you had encountered at one point. The loose earth fills the floor of this chamber and seems to almost be piled up against the walls, rising at the walls as high as 6-7 feet. There is on the wall a metal rungs inset into the stone that lead 50 feet up to a metal hatch in the ceiling.
That's
I
it,
doubt
just the rungs in the hatch of interest.
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, we had the encounter with the fire pit. This would seem to be some kind of setup.
Whole towers is set up.
Great point, Cantriel.
I doubt that Noorman's going to be able to lift that.
That's not in his wheelhouse, no.
Do you want me to examine the hatch first?
Oh yes, that would
Probably
be
a good idea.
great.
All right. Jake Drown is going to move through the room, kind of. Did you say the dirt looks loose or packed?
It's loose.
Loose. So he'll probably just kind of gently prod. You use the staff sort of like a walking stick and just make sure he's poking the ground a little bit before he walks so that nothing breaks away under his feet. And then check out the ladder, and if nothing looks out of place, climb up and get a look at the hatch.
Yeah, doing so, you realize that this loose earth, it feels like fresh tilled earth. The top maybe 6 to 8 inches are very loose, and you feel solid underneath you as you put the end of your staff in. It goes down about 8 inches and hits more solid earth. Your heavy footsteps maybe sink in a couple inches. But you otherwise can get to the rungs of the ladder with no problem. And I'm assuming you're then going to climb.
Gonna give the rungs a quick look, make sure nothing looks weird, no glyphs or any of that crap happening.
Sure, give me an investigation check.
That's a dirty 20.
Okay. You can clearly tell that these are just metal rungs set into the stone. They appear secure. They don't have any sort of wear on them. They look as though they may actually never have been used.
All right, he will sort of let go of his staff, and it'll vanish into a spray of seawater, and he'll climb up the ladder toward the hatch.
All right. You watch as Drown ascends the ladder. No problem. You do notice, Drown, as you get closer to the top of this ladder and towards this hatch, probably the last 10 feet or so, you see your breath coming out in plumes. It's getting colder. As you reach the hatch, there's no sign of any kind of handle. There's a thin seam around it, but it appears as though it opens upward.
Okay, just take a moment, examine the seam, make sure, see if anything.
Sure.
Looks strange.
Go ahead and investigate.
Okay, let's see how I can do it. Ooh, even better, 21.
You don't see any indication that there's any mechanical or arcane traps on this. It doesn't appear to be locked. You see through this gap a little bit of light. That seems to be possibly ambient light coming through from whatever's on the other side.
Okay, cool. He'll then just descend the ladder, walk back over to the rest, and just sort of nod to it. It looks like it pushes open. I don't see anything wrong with it. There's light above, and it's getting cold.
Cold? That's interesting. Well, do we feel any reason to poke around here? He kind of like gestures to the dirt.
I can't say I feel like it's time to go planting seeds or anything like that.
Seemed like it held one person, so if we go one at a time, it should be okay.
The ladder seems perfectly sturdy.
I think it takes a moment, but then Talmud realizes that they're all like looking at him. And he's like, right, okay. And he walks over to the ladder and starts climbing.
All right. Talmud, are you gonna do it one at a time, or are you gonna just start ascending?
I think Thorgarn would be, pretty close to Talmud, just in case, things start jumping on him right away. He's there to support his cousin.
Yeah, we should probably queue up so as many people hit the electrified ladder as possible.
Yeah. All right. You begin making your way up the ladder until you reach the top, and you see exactly what Drown was talking about, Talmud. The metal of the rungs, by the time you reach the top, is quite cold to the touch. You can see your breath.
Yeah, he kind of like pauses and looks down at Thorgarn if he's right behind him. Drown's right. It's not just cold. There's some kind of magic or something going on. We should probably brace ourselves. And then he'll continue.
Change the mission. Let's keep going.
All right. Don't get your knickers in a twist.
And Jake, worth noting that Drown takes a moment to resummon his staff now that he's pretty sure the ladder is clear. He's comfortable climbing it one-handed.
Okay. All right. Talmud, you place your large dwarven hand against this metal hatch, this round hatch, feeling the cold before you even touch it. You press into the hatch and you just hear this as it pushes open. And lifting it up, you can I kind of imagine seeing it now. The camera angle switches and we see a low angle of this hatch open, and then we just see Talmud's head just kind of, just the eyes looking around. And this hatch opens up into a room that is 30 feet in diameter. You see about maybe 15 feet away, there is an archway of what looks to be ancient rune-covered stones. There's a mist with images hard to discern from where you are, Talmud, inside the mist. In front of this archway is a wooden chair, a simple wooden chair. And there is somebody seated in this chair looking into this portal. They have not made any note of your arrival.
About how far away is this person in the chair?
15 feet.
Close. Does the ground, I mean, you said it's cold in here. Does the ground have any kind of ice or anything like that on
Nope.
it?
It's just stone.
Oh, okay.
It's just very chilly in here. The temperature has probably dropped a good 25 degrees.
I think he's going to turn around and just put a finger to his lips to Thorgarn, and then he's going to try to, as quietly as he can, crawl up and out onto the floor.
Okay. Each person attempting to quietly climb out of the hatchway, I'll need a stealth check from.
And we're just going with the dwarves for right now, right? Or everybody?
So far, I know that the dwarves are the only one who have confirmed, and you are the only ones that have confirmed being climbing the ladder.
I will have come up after Drown.
Yeah, I'm last. I'm last on the ladder.
All right,
No,
well then-
Cantriel would like jump in front of Gerithan.
And Drown has a 22 stealth to tippy-toe his giant ass up through this hatch.
I rolled an 18 for that.
Talmud, what did you get? Since you're the first one out.
I also ended up with an 18.
All right.
Ace.
Thorgarn?
Thorgarn's got to ruin it. Metal armor, disadvantage, non-proficiency, that's a 3.
Okay, so Talmud, you move with a silence we have never seen before. As you press your palms flat on the stone floor and you just sort of push up until your foot lands up there, and you just move up and slide to the side. You see Thorgarn start to rise up. And as Thorgarn comes up, one of his weapons catches on a rung and it kind of clatters and he has to jiggle it loose. And as he moves to jiggle it loose, the other one on his back slams up against the hatch and boom.
I mean, to be fair, he's like a walking arsenal. Yeah, he's got at least 6 weapons.
With all of the grace that you exited, Talmud, Thorgarn sort of pulls himself up, and it sounds like somebody just threw a suit of armor onto the floor as he falls to the side.
But then
there's the
play it off.
There's the metal dog bowl rotating slowly to a halt.
I just see the camera passing by everybody on the steps individually going, ooh.
I mean, to be fair, like the other die was an 8, so it would have only been a 9 without disadvantage. So, you know.
Talmud, surprisingly, the figure seated in the chair has not moved even a tiny bit.
I think they must have drinking the mead. And he's going to, like, grab a hold of Ghost Cleaver and kind of start, like, rotating around them to kind of, like, come around the front side of them, but with a little bit of a berth.
All right, and it sounds like everybody else is slowly making their way up. Nobody making as much noise as Thorgarn. And so, Talmud, as you maneuver around, what you see is seated in this chair is a humanoid person with long, wavy, salt and pepper hair. You see the profile of a human-looking face with a neatly trimmed salt and pepper beard coming down to a point. You see flowing robes of blues and reds and blacks. The blue almost a turquoise. The red a very vibrant crimson. All of the fasteners and decorations are a very brightly polished silver. The person is staring into this portal. Their eyes are glazed over. Not just like staring blankly, but literally they're just white. No irises, no pupils.
Like, as in their kind of eyes rolled back into their head, white?
That's kind of what it looks like.
Thomas going to kind of take a couple of steps closer, kind of lean, then like stick his hand out in front of their eyes and kind of turns around to Thorgarn. I don't think he's here.
As you turn, Talmud, you also see that Griveth is finally clambering up into the room, the last person into the room. And the figure suddenly, their eyes, and almost the same turquoise blue as the highlights in their robes are this person's eyes. And suddenly, their palms just slap their thighs, and they stand up with a flourish and turn towards you. Ah! Welcome! It is quite an honor to have you here, inside this place with me. Talmud! It is a pleasure to meet you in person. Ah, Thorgarn! I thought that was you for sure. Gerithan and Drown is what I think they call you. And Griveth Langsmore. And Cantriel. Yes, the Dawnbringers. Welcome to my inner sanctum. I Gothias. It is an honor and a pleasure to meet you.
Sorry, lost for words because really just thinking, hammer. That's about it right now.
So you're Golthias.
Yes.
You're the one who's been having all the fun in the tower lately.
Well, if you want to get perfectly technical with it, I have been watching things unfold as you have made your way through, dipping my hands in, occasionally stirring things, pulling on certain levers and pulleys to manipulate the backdrop of the stage as this grand theater unfolded before my eyes.
So you've been pulling strings? Are you bored of unlife?
Oh, believe me, Thorgarn, it is absolutely not a boredom with life. It is a fascination with each and every one of you.
So
you are incredible people. Look how far you have come.
I'm still stuck on this whole part where you've engineered us to come here to kill you.
No, you misunderstand. I had no influence on anything you did before you arrived into my home. But once you came into my tower, well, the show began, we shall say. But believe me, as you have seen, as we have all seen, others are manipulating your fates beyond your control. You are the puppets in somebody else's grander show. And I must admit, it appears as though perhaps I too am a puppet.
Talmud's been like tensing his fists, and you can hear his knuckles cracking. You talk an awful lot. Where is Brilne? What have you done with her?
Brilne.
He kind of stops.
Yesha.
Thorgarn totally looks confused.
Where's Yesha?
Right.
Ah, Yesha, the young human. Yes, the one that all of you well, you were not here yet. It was that metal wizard was here at the time. But you all worked so wonderfully together to save this human's life. And then I was quite surprised when I saw that you all so easily abandoned her.
Golthias, cut the crap. Where is she?
She has been here all along.
Oh, that we know. The question is where exactly. Location, not some ephemeral explanation with lots of pretty poetic words. And this is coming from the bard.
Griveth, as Cantriel is sassing Golthias, you hear just a real subtle drip sound next to your left ear, followed by another one, and you look over as the second one hits, and on your pauldron you see a couple of drops of blood.
And they stand out pretty well because I have the white dragon armor on, so it's very stark. So before we move on, as we came in, I was doing the divine. I'm doing the divine sense. What do I sense?
So there's a couple things going on here. Drown, go ahead and give me a perception or investigation, your choice, at advantage. And then Griveth, as you're concentrating, as always, since you've done this within the tower, you have always just sensed this evil presence everywhere. For the first time since you've been in the Nightfang Spire, you are not getting that constant noise of this divine sense just reverberating back in your head. But you are getting a very strong, concentrated sense above you, about 50 feet away.
That's when I slowly turn my head and look up.
Drown, what did you get on your check?
Unfortunately, the dice are against me. I burned a domain die and still only ended up with a 13.
Excuse me.
Okay. Fortunately, it's not that high of a DC for what you're attempting to do, as you are watching Gulthias closely. And for a moment, as Cantriel is talking, and as Gulthias is talking, he just seems to be very unusually calm and cordial. Nothing seems out of the ordinary until that moment that he makes a gesture. And as he does so, the flowing sleeve of one of his robes, you just catch it as it passes through the upper edge of the back of the chair. Only by like a half an inch. Like blink and you would have missed it. Griveth,
So immediately Drown will say, "Ignore the figment, it isn't real," and start looking around.
that's when you all see Griveth just slowly going. And as you look up, Griveth, you see that 50 feet above your head, there is a stone catwalk around the edge of the room that's probably about 10 feet in diameter. The center part of this continues up for another 50 feet. Up near the top of this central core of Nightfang Spire, you see, shrouded in black flame that somehow still manages to cast a light, a massive beating heart. Suspended from chains hanging below the heart. 4 chains that reach up, one from each ankle and one from each wrist, hangs Yesha. Blood dripping from an unseen wound. There is no sign of Gulthias, other than what Drown has now determined to be an illusion standing before you.
Heads up, Dawnbringers!
Why so suddenly alarmed? Oh. You did not actually think that I would so openly present myself before you without taking some sort of precautions, did you? I thought you were seasoned adventurers.
We just don't think like cowards.
Plus, you still got the message that we're here.
Is it an act of cowardice, Talmud, to brace for an enemy that you know is coming for you? Do the warriors who dig trenches and place up battlements and lock themselves away in their towers, are they cowards? Or are they brilliant tacticians?
I'm the one who's standing here ready for the fight. You're still hiding. To me, it's a pretty simple question.
I would remind you, Talmud, that it is you who came into my home looking for a fight.
No, you came into my grandfather's home, you moron.
Well. I am not disappointed, Cantriel, at all by the spark of life that you bring with you.
Thorgarn looks over his right shoulder. Is the image of Father Griffin is still there?
It is still there, and it looks pissed. You see Father Geffen is looking around, trying to figure out where Gothias actually is.
You've been defeated by a dwarf before. I understand you're scared. But this can be over quicker, and your fear can end.
Oh, Thorgarn, spirit caller. To think that after all this time I would be afraid of dwarves, or any of you. I have welcomed you in here.
No, you have not.
I have.
If you had welcomed us, all of your minions and things would have let out carpets and treats. That is what it is to welcome.
Would
you
you
have laid everything against us you possibly could, and yet here we stand, still ready to defeat you, as my mentor has done once before.
Would you throw your meat straight onto the fire without seasoning and preparing it? Or would you tenderize it and flavor it?
Do you still think you can succeed?
I have already succeeded, Thorgarn. All of the Dawnbringers, save one, are here exactly where I want them. The descendant of Died the Wise, who admittedly, Griveth, I should kill you where you stand on the spot for what you did to a Chardalon, or your ancestors did. But I must admit, if it were not for what your ancestor did, well, none of us would be here where we are today. And I would not have the powers that I have now. So I owe you and your line a thanks. And my offer still stands, though this time it is for real. Forsake your allegiance to that foolish god, Eldath. Break your oath and join me. Your fate and your legacy is tied to the heart of a Chardalon. Let its power course through you, and you will know a power that no god could bestow upon you.
Hey, Jake, just out of curiosity, how high is that giant heart?
It's almost 100 feet up.
Mechanically,
and
how high is the catwalk?
The ceiling is 100 feet, so the heart is about 15 feet. So the heart is at the bottom of the heart is at 85 feet with Yesha right below it. And then the catwalk is 50 feet straight up.
Okay, thank you.
Then, oops, sorry.
The legends say that, or the stories say that, you're powerful and intelligent, but they do your lack of wisdom, an injustice. For a rabbit does not lure the wolf into its den. Today you will fall.
Hey, Jake, while they're talking to Gulthias, Cantriel is going to do Primeval Awareness.
All right, which does what again?
Finds a whole bunch of things, including vampires.
It's kind of the whole point of, doing the talking to hopefully allow the spellcasters some way of finding or pinpointing it, because Thorgarn's got nothing on that regards.
So what?
All right, Gulthias. Let's talk about this offer. Show yourself. Come forth so that we can discuss this offer of yours.
The illusory Gulthias takes a bow. I am standing before you.
This is a mere shade, a mirror. We won't discuss with this apparition. We want to discuss with you in person this deal. And as as Griveth is saying these blasphemous words, he's putting his hand. Probably, I can imagine Thorgarn. It's like, what? He's putting his hand on Thorgarn's shoulder to kind of like, brother, yeah, I'm just
So-
Yeah, he is
talking.
kind of giving you a weird look, like, "What are you doing?" But he's not the brightest bulb in the.
Come forth and let us discuss this.
So, unless there's an elevated form of this that you're using or something else, I believe the primeval awareness just lets you detect the presence within 1 mile.
She wants to make sure he's actually in the building,
Right.
or if Elvis has left.
Yeah, so you're concentrating using the distractions to your advantage, and you do sense the vampiric presence in this room.
And I say you can offer us a token of respect that you will discuss this with us in a fair discussion. Release our friend Yisha from her trap. Bring her down to us.
The human woman means that much to you. You left her behind. I thought perhaps she was to be a gift for me. For
What
I have
does-
so enjoyed her presence.
What does Talmud look like about now?
He's like starting to foam at the mouth, and like steam starting to come out of his ears. He's looking for a way to try to climb the wall.
All right, so Drown will clap his big ol' hand down on Talmud's shoulder. His eyes will flare, and that green undersea light will encompass both of them, and he'll dimension door them up to the catwalk.
Wonderful. With a clap that sounds like a crashing wave, Talmud and Drown vanish from next to all of you. And Griveth, Thorgarn, Gerithan, and Cantriel, you all see the illusory Gothias. As this happens, his eyes just subtly look to the side, but not in the direction from which Drown and Talmud vanished. Drown and Talmud, you find yourself 50 feet higher, so that much closer to Yesha and the Burning Heart. Here, you can suddenly actually hear, almost feel, and it is even colder up here. Arrayed all around this catwalk, you see bookshelves. You see a desk, papers everywhere. You see books upon books upon books, laboratory equipment. This looks to be Gothias's inner sanctum. There's a handful, there's about 2 or 3 chairs strewn about in different places around the edges of it.
Can those of us on the bottom look in the direction that the fake Gulthias looked to see what is in the direction that he looked at?
I mean, where he was looking was in the opposite direction of where they were, so it would be the equivalent of looking at an empty section of wall where you are.
Unless it's not an empty section of wall, is what I'm saying. Maybe that might be where he really is. I don't know. It's just...
Well, I mean, yeah, you can see he appeared to look at a section of wall about 15 feet away. Now that you're up top, Talmud, Talmud and Drown, what do you do?
So these chains that are holding Yesha, where are they anchored?
They appear to be anchored to the heart itself.
Oh, okay. So like the chains come out of the wall and into the heart, and then there's other chains that go like straight down to her.
The heart is suspended magically from above near the ceiling.
Okay.
The chains are hanging from the heart
down to her.
And she is basically face down with these chains. She's just kind of loosely hanging like this from her ankles and her wrists, suspended above the full, almost full 100-foot drop. Where you are now, she's about we'll say, let's see if that was 15. That'd be about 30 feet up.
And it looks like if she's not hanging above the catwalk, she's hanging above just...
No, the catwalk
open.
is 10 feet wide around the perimeter of the room, and there's an open hole in the middle that goes all the way down.
How big's that hole?
The hole is 30 foot in diameter.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Correction. It is 40 feet in diameter.
Even better. Damn.
All right, so this is going to be really weird, but I don't want to break your guys' concentration. Take just a couple minutes to discuss the meta. I really need to take a bio break real quick, but I don't want to break completely right now.
Go ahead.
So
So we've got Drown and Talmud up top, 50 feet above us. We got a heart. We got, a prisoner. Somewhere we have a real Gulthias, and we potentially have, something behind a fake wall where, the illusory Gulthias looked at. What are we thinking here, people?
I miscalculated. I thought we were closer to where she was hanging.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. So do you think we should try?
As far as where Gulthias is, I think Cole said it in the chat, and I think she's spot on with it. I think his real self was looking at where the spell just happened. So if you just mirror that should give you a clue as to where the invisible form of him is actually standing.
Interesting. So do you think if we attack the heart, it would?
I don't know if that would go well.
Or you think the heart's invulnerable?
I think the heart's important. I'm trying to figure a way to attack it without killing Yesha. And
that's the problem.
A big steaming pile of nothing on that right now.
Yeah.
Maybe we can blast the chains loose.
She'll fall. And we don't have a means of catching her. I don't think.
I have Featherfall.
Oh, well, never mind.
I have Featherfall in my pillows.
If only we had.
Lovely.
If only we had.
Fantastic. Never mind.
My pillows.
I have a plan.
If only we had a Holocaust cloak.
This whole time I was like, my kingdom for a fig to cast Featherfall. Never mind. We're good.
So I don't know how many.
To them during our last dome rest thingy.
I don't know how many third level and higher spell slots Griveth has. But we could always save them for the oh crap, somebody died. As long as Griveth survives, we can always.
I have one left.
Oh,
yeah, hang on to that.
One.
Ouch. All right, so I got a DM back, so no more secrets.
yeah, 1 second. Continue talking. I can hear you now. I came in at I have Featherfall. As I sat down, I rolled over my green screen and I'm about to yank it off the ceiling, so I'm going to fix that real quick. Continue talking.
Discuss amongst yourselves.
Boop! He
Fall
just
is not
disappeared.
about
That's
the
funny.
feather nor the fall.
I'm gonna have to
All
deal.
right. So unless these are super special chains, she's about to fall.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I guess that's it. It's our way ahead.
So I imagine there's going to be stuff in the room. There's going to be wherever he really is. And I'm not so sure this, illusory thing is, 100% just illusion. So we really have to be prepared for whatever.
Yeah.
I assume it's a project image spell. So
My toolkit is very narrow, so I know what I'm going to be doing.
Well, sure.
Yeah, when the
kind of my
dice start
problem.
rolling, Gerithan will, unleash the torrent, as it were.
Well,
But
I mean, that's kind of the problem is, we've got 6 of us here and, 4 of us just do Smash. So, I mean, occasionally, Griveth steps a little bit outside of that wheelhouse, but
That's 6 javelins, guys. Let's bring it.
Well,
you get 4 of them.
all right. So, Drown and Talmud, you are up on the second level. Cantriel, Griveth, Gerithan, and Thorgarn. Griveth, when I sort of had to leave, you were in the process of stalling for time as you were trying to tell him you wanted to discuss in good faith. To which his only reply is, the irony of you demanding a good faith discussion to break an oath. To be honest, Griveth, I've been watching you for a long time, and I would be very surprised and suspicious if you were to actually break your oath at this point. Almost as surprised as I would be if Cantriel accepted the legacy of her own blood heritage and joined me at my side as a true descendant of a Shardalon.
Is this a proposal? Because I demand a ring, I demand the kneeling, the candlelight, wine, everything. And your
Well-
actual self. Call me crazy, I'm old-fashioned.
I fear I may be older and more old-fashioned than even you, Cantriel.
There's the sound of glass breaking, and Talmud goes, "Oh, oops!" And like the hammerhead of Gerithan has just smashed some of the glass vials on one of these desks. Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
The 4 of you down below, you see, as you hear the sound of glass breaking up above, you see the illusion of Gothias. Its head whips to a different direction in reaction to that sound.
So based on seeing that and kind of seeing this illusion glance before, is there anything I can do to kind of like try and figure where he might actually be if he's kind of projecting himself?
Like, is there a way to triangulate?
I will let you roll an insight check.
Ooh,
It is going to be a
insight
very
skill.
high DC.
All right.
Look at the angle where he's looking, then you invert it.
It's the Pythagorean theorem.
Let me get out my
Theory, the
sextant.
thing, the
Angle
number.
of incidence, angle of reflection.
Reach into your pocket protector.
Hey, how's a 23?
Nice.
That's lovely.
So I set the DC for this at 22.
Oh,
Shut the fork up. Yes.
I set
Yeah.
the DC for that at 22.
So which square do I tell my allies to target? No.
Well, you know that Talmud, and based on the position of Talmud and Drown, and seeing them move away, and you've seen this dimension door happen before. And from the sound of the breaking glass and everything, you can guess that they went straight up. And that the sound of the breaking glass seems to be opposite of where you heard that sound. And you just mentally sort of invert it, knowing you're looking at him. And you can assume that he is almost directly across, slightly offset from where Talmud and Drown are. His eyesight, or excuse
Oh,
me,
good.
his line of sight, basically, the biggest thing is that you detected was when he looked in the sound, he didn't look down, he didn't look up, he looked straight across.
Yeah. And then when the glass broke, he looked down.
And how high up is that from where we're
50.
standing? So can I target that area?
I mean, there's a catwalk there.
I mean, like the point at which I think he is. Can I target a spell on that?
You'd be
Point.
targeting the floor, the ceiling that's under the floor that he's standing on.
Oh, I can't see where I think he is.
It's a
from where I'm
10-foot
standing.
wide catwalk.
Okay. Hang on. I have one more thought.
As you're figuring this out, Cantriel, sort of continuing off of what you were saying about the courtship, he just says, you know, in my day, we spent a lot of time getting to know and courting somebody before we would even dance with them. I
Yes,
feel
you're
as though our
considering-
courtship period is over, and it is time to dance. That is why you came here, isn't it?
I actually hate dancing.
All right, Gerithan, what were you cooking up?
Gerithan's just gonna kind of come up beside Cantriel and just kind of elbow her gently and just point up and whisper to her, he's right there.
Thank you.
As you say that, Gerithan, the four of you see the illusory Gothias make a slight bow and vanishes. Talmud and Drown, I would like you both to make a perception check at disadvantage. And I am going to make a dice roll as well.
So when he was saying, something about dance, that's been a euphemism for combat for quite a long time, and Thorgarn is well aware of it. So he is at the ready. Not all that good at noticing things, but he's definitely looking out for when it's going to start.
Let's see, that would be okay. Drown and Talmud, what you got? A big old
5.
7 from Talmud.
Drown has a 5.
So,
Guys, there's domain dice above you. Just saying.
It's disadvantage with a -1, man.
Yeah.
so what this means is we are going to roll for initiative, but Gothias is going to get a surprise round, basically.
I don't think I can be surprised
It's-
as long as I rage.
I don't think I can be surprised either.
But you're not raging.
Well, I don't
As
have
long
to
as
worry
he
about that.
rages, he can
That's my
rage at the
first
start
thing.
of his turn and
Right.
act.
Right. What I'm saying is the initiative is being triggered by this action, which is happening before you're raging.
I have the alert feat, so I can't be surprised.
His barbarian thing says he gets it. The way surprise works, you actually get a turn. You just can't do anything if you're surprised. Barbarians can use their rage to go even though they were surprised.
Okay.
Yeah, it says also if you are surprised at the beginning of combat but not incapacitated.
That's
you can
right.
act
Yes, that's
normally
right.
on your
That's
first
that.
turn if you enter rage before you do anything else.
Because
Okay.
like the surprise round is just the first round. Surprise people don't get to act on their turn.
Right. Okay. Very well. We're going to roll for initiative. I wish I could use that roll for my initiative.
Finally rolled big.
Because that stealth roll was a nat 20. The initiative roll was not. All right. Griveth, what you got?
I'm rocking it with a 3.
Drown?
15.
Cantriel?
16.
Gerithan?
25.
Did you say 25?
I did say 25.
Thorgarn.
I got a massive 17.
And Talmud.
Talmud got an 18.
Wow. All
That's
right.
like 2 to 3 times what the dwarves usually go at.
So I'm using a different tracker here. So let me put everybody into place. Griveth. Down here. And let's see. Drown had a 15. Cantriel had a 16. Gerithan had a 25. Thorgarn at 17. And Talmud at 18. All right, Gerithan, you are down below and can't even see anything. So there's not even a trigger for you to know that this thing is coming. Talmud, because of this aspect that you have, from an opposite side, slightly offset from where you and Drown are, you see a small flick of movement. Even as it happens, you cannot see the source, but you see a sudden buildup of electrical energy that you have learned to precede magical spells of a lightning nature. So are you then choosing to go into a rage and...
So you said this is kind of like on the opposite side of the tower, like on the catwalk on the other side?
Yes, it's level with where you are.
Okay. And about how far would it be to like circumvent the catwalk to that point?
Linear distance is almost 60 feet. So you would have to...
Yeah, I don't know what.
I have
work
some
out to, but
squares
it's more than I
here.
have in a round.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You'd have to move almost 60 feet around the perimeter to get there.
Okay. So he is going to certainly rage. And I think it's actually not much of a conscious decision for him. I think the tattoos start glowing, and just about the time that he realizes that that's happening, the face of his dear sweet cousin comes out in an effort to protect him. Tildane pushes Drown the opposite direction, just kind of away, and turns and is going to run to start making my way towards where I saw that movement, drawing Ghost Cleaver.
All right. Moving down through everyone else. Nobody else has the features that allow them to not be surprised. Gulthias, that's me. Gulthias is going to continue doing what he is doing. You see the buildup of electrical energy sort of trace along the path that you are running. And a lightning bolt is unleashed across the room at you. You, sir, I will need a dexterity saving throw at advantage because you can see it.
Let's spend a domain die.
All right, domain die.
Okay. There's at least 2 digits. That's a 17. Probably not gonna cut it.
Okay, let's see. So, domain die. That puts you at. There you go. Okay, so what'd you get? A 17, you said? That'll do it. So you're only going to take half of this lightning damage. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 23, 27, 28. So you'll take 14 points of lightning damage. We do appear to be having a slight dip in internet right now, which is causing some buffering issues. So I apologize for that. So Gulthias has used that action to apparently cast a lightning bolt, though in doing so you do not see him. You see where it came from. And so that's going to move us from Gulthias to around past Griveth and back to the top of the order. Gerithan, it is your turn. You just saw up above near the ceiling an eruption of electrical energy shoot across that opening. And you hear it a roar from Talmud, and you can hear his heavy boots running. It appears it is on.
Now there's no staircase or anything, right? It's just this catwalk up there 50 feet.
That's what you see.
We didn't long rest since I made a portal, so that's not happening again.
I will look to the those of us down here and just say, do we have a way of getting up there?
Not that I know of. That doesn't help. I've got distance covered, but if you want to try and find a way up.
Why do they always float?
Because it makes it harder.
Can I search the room and see if there's any sort of
give
perhaps...
me just give me a quick investigation.
Yeah. I'm gonna use a domain die just in case.
Yep, I recognize that face.
Okay, that's a lot better. 22.
Looking closer, you can see that the stone walls do appear to have climbable grout lines.
Okay.
It'll cost you half movement to climb.
Can I, using my psi-powered leap, jump up and then start climbing a little further?
Yeah, what's your jump distance?
I have to roll my die, but my what's the high jump?
Do you have a running start?
You have enough room to get a running start.
So, however much you burn moving laterally to get your running start, it has to be 10 feet at least, I think. Then you can high jump, half your strength score? Is that right?
3 plus your strength modifier. If you have the running jump. So that would be 4, which is low. But my psi-powered leap lets me increase that by quite a lot. And that distance of jump, the extra distance only costs a foot. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a running start up against the wall.
So you're spending 15 feet of movement to jump however high this is.
Yep. And then I'll have another 15 feet.
So how high is it that you're jumping?
Well, let's find out. I rolled a 1 on the die, but that adds so 8 plus 4, so 12 feet.
Look around the overlay, dude. Everybody's pointing at domain dice.
I mean, I guess any die
You
roll,
have
right?
175 domain
Zach,
dice.
they run the risk of falling on my head. Save me. Use one.
I was just I
Yes,
didn't
any die
register
roll.
because I was just rolling my d10.
Even chat is exclaiming domain
Yeah.
dice.
Okay. So it's a little higher now. We're looking at 18 feet up, plus 4.
So suddenly Gerithan gets a running start and just leaps almost half the distance and just seems to cling to the walls pretty easily. The stonework here is very climbable. And just so you know, every time you guys spend a domain dice, it seems like somebody subscribes and gives you it back. So
I can get
so that only cost you 15 feet of movement.
Yep.
So you should have, what, 15 feet left?
Yep.
So you can move another 8 feet. So that's going to put you basically closed 30 feet of distance.
Can I dash and then climb the rest?
It's
I mean,
going to make you 5 feet short.
you'll be 5 feet short, but yeah.
And you'll also be
I'll-
under a 10-foot ledge, so you got to do a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible thing.
We'll cross that gap when we get to it.
But you're basically right up under the ledge, just very quickly, just...
Yeah. And that's gonna be my turn.
Okay.
Psionic parkour.
Drown, you would most readily notice this as suddenly in the chamber, the heart flares with this flaming light. And then you hear this ping as a link in one of the 4 chains holding Yesha breaks. And you see one of her arms go, and her body hanging limply. One chain has broken, only 4 chains. And I would like, since I had you notice that, Drown, I'm going to have you roll me a d4. Because I like having players roll for their fate.
Okay, I roll a d4 now that there's no goblin climbing across my stuff. 2. I rolled a 2.
Okay. All of you feel as this necrotic energy from this heart just goes and seems to rain down from above. For the next round, you feel the familiar necrotic energy as you did when the Death Tyrant was suppressing your healing abilities. Until the next round, until the end of this round, nobody can gain hit points. Talmud, it is your turn.
So I know I didn't see the figure itself appear, but did I see the origin of this lightning bolt, like where it came from?
You did.
Can I get to that point to swing my weapon at it?
Yes.
That is my plan.
It will be at disadvantage because it's an
Right.
invisible target.
Okay.
I have to check something. Okay.
All right. So Talmud goes screeching around this catwalk in the direction of this specter, and brings Ghost Cleaver to bear, and is going to recklessly swing this weapon twice. I'm gonna spin the domain die.
Yes. Spend those domain dice.
Still not a lot. So total, that's going to be 17.
As you swing your weapon around, you are perhaps surprised to feel it make contact.
I am surprised. And the second was a 23, so that should also hit.
Yes.
Sweet. All right. Then the first is going to be magical slashing damage to the tune of 19 points. Second, I'm going to roll that savage attacker. Is 17 points.
So 26 total points. How do you want to do this? I'm just kidding. It's the most anticlimactic fight.
All right, that got me. What?
It's the introduction of my vampire chump. Bad
It's
guy.
a triple blind. Yeah.
All right. So Talmud, you have struck at what you can only assume to be Gulthias, but definitely something. Thorgarn.
That shot lightning at me.
Oh, wait a minute. Before you go, Thorgarn.
Wake me up
Where is it?
before you go.
There we go. All right. Talmud does a, where is it? 25 hit you.
Yeah, it does.
You feel a powerful arm suddenly wrap. As you hit with the second time, it seems to sort of push your arm to the side, using your own swing momentum, spins you around, and you suddenly feel yourself in the headlock from a powerful arm. You are now grappled. That was a legendary action.
Is it just against my AC, or do I get the chance to roll a athletics against it?
It's no,
It's just
you
AC.
the it's
form
a
of attack.
slam attack to
Okay,
against your
nice.
AC. You would have to make the check on your turn to try to
On my
escape
turn
the
to try to
grapple.
break. Sweet.
Thorgarn, it is your turn.
So I was able to see where Gerithan started climbing up. I got a speed of 35. Nothing to boost my jump check like he can do, so I'm just going to start
Yep,
climbing.
you just start climbing.
So that's 70 feet I can move with, my regular action and my, my move. So I get 35 feet in the upward direction.
Excellent. Cantriel.
Uh-huh.
From your vantage point, you've only been able to catch glimpses of what is happening. And you can just see as Talmud runs around the edge, swings hard at something, appears to be connecting, and then you see Talmud spun around, and he's suddenly grasping at something that seems to be holding him, though you cannot see what it is.
But I can tell that something's holding him around the neck.
It looks that way. It's a very unnatural way his beard is being pressed against his chest.
Okay, then yeah, I'm going to be aiming above his head and firing off a couple of shots. So
Those will be at disadvantage.
I was going to say, so she's not technically seeing the creature then.
Nope, it would, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
you
what I
wouldn't be
wanted
able to use
clarify.
your feature
That's what
yet.
I wanted to clarify. Oh, there's a feature that's coming out, honey. She's been saving on this one. Okay, so first shot. And this is why I love the way I do my thing, because that's going to be a dirty 20 to hit.
That is going to hit.
I figured as much. And then that is going to be 9 points piercing.
Let me see something here. That's... Oh, that's sorry, that's the wrong die. 9?
Mm-hmm.
You watch as your arrow flies up, perfectly aimed above Talmud's head, and then suddenly it just stops. Thump. And then you see it just suddenly almost looks like it was thrown to the side.
She's stubborn. She does it again. Damn disadvantage. Well, the one was a crit, but that doesn't count. Still got a 19 to hit.
That'll hit.
Okay, then that is a total of 11 piercing this time.
All right. All right. Any bonus actions or anything else?
Let's see. Who is after me? Is that Talmud? No.
Uh,
It's Drown.
Drown
no,
is
no.
after you.
So she'll shout up. Distance is to our favor, and you have Bardic Inspiration.
E8, right?
What's the range on your Bardic Inspiration?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, that's a good point. 60 feet.
Okay. I just knowing that Drown
I
is
got
50 feet
range,
above.
baby.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that it would be
Project.
around that
Project.
for where you can.
Oh, I can project. Do you want me to project?
Cantriel can project.
I mean, there's another trick where she can really project now.
All right. Drown, you are up then.
Okay, so Drown, having been shoved kind of away along the far end of the catwalk, as Talmud took off toward the invisible vampire, he'll just sort of take that momentum and keep scooching until he has kind of an angled line up toward the heart, stretch out his hand, and unleash a blistering torrent of cold. Cast Cone of Cold. And he's going to arrange it such that it catches the heart and the chains that are holding Yesha. And he's going to yell, "Get ready!" down to Cantriel. So,
Okay.
here's hoping that the heart can be damaged, but I'm going to roll a bunch of cold, and we'll see if we can shatter some chains and freeze a red dragon heart.
It's Thursday, isn't it?
It is, yeah. 16. 45 points of cold damage.
45 points of cold damage.
Yes. Spell slot. Precious warlock spell slot.
All right. So, as your cone of cold shoots up towards this, you do see the remaining chains seem to frost over, and the heart, it skips a beat. The light grows dim for a moment. You see the frost and the ice crystals form on the outside of it as it sort of, and then it seems to crack the surface of ice. You can only assume that you've done damage to it, but the fact that it stopped, you must have done something.
How did the chains hold up?
They are still intact, but they are frozen over.
Right.
All right.
Hey, about how far away from Talmud am I?
It's 40 across. You got pushed off to the side. You're about 55 feet away.
Okay, that's still in range. I'll use a bonus action to summon one of the lurker's tentacles nearby and strike at the space behind where he seems to be grappled from.
Okay.
So disadvantage because Senor is invisible.
Hey, Jake, isn't there an arrow sticking out of the unseen thing?
No, it got thrown to the side.
I think it got
No.
swatted.
No, the
Didn't it?
second one hit.
Oh.
Just
True.
saying.
Your second one did hit.
Yeah, I know if he's, holding on to Talmud,
So
there's
there's
just
a-
something sticking.
So
there's a
yeah, there
marker.
is a arrow sticking out of air.
It's a you are
Cool.
here.
I will strike at the arrow-ish, that area where it's stuck in.
All right.
So that is going to be, that's a dirty 20, 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
Okay, then I will do some, we fought vampires before, and they had some resistance to cold or lightning, but I don't remember which it was. I will try. It's cold up here. I'll try lightning damage. Oof! Crappy roll, 3. You know what? I'm going to re-roll that. Burn a domain die. Let's see. Try better. That's better. 9. I'll take average.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So it hits. Does the damage. And he fails his concentration check. As the lightning hits, you see this form
the invisibility
take place.
Ha!
And yes, you are right. He was using greater invisibility to maintain his invisible form. As you see the solid image of pretty much almost identical to what you saw of the illusory image, but it looks more, it looks less pristine. Like the robes are not as neat. The colors are faded. It's tattered. The hair is not as, it's very unkempt. And it's got a very feral look about it. As you strike it and make him visible, he is going to use 2 more legendary actions. With the grappled Talmud, that is a 26 to hit.
That is certainly a hit.
Make him
Yeah.
re-roll.
Yeah, I'll have you reroll.
That's
Oh,
2
he's still-
domain dice. The new roll is a natural 20.
Oh, Christ.
Might as well re-roll again.
Put the domain dice back. No, I'm just kidding. Go. Yeah, I'll spin them again because I don't want that to happen. That's going to be bad news. I
Oh
have a
no,
feeling
this is a
it's
terrible
fine.
time for the stream quality to dip. It looks like it's just getting gray, or not gray, shady. Nope. What's the word I'm looking for? Staticky.
Slim Shady.
We've been having, much like you earlier today, Jeremy, I just learned earlier that we've been having service issues in this area.
Oh, wonderful.
So re-rolling that nat 20, that is going to turn it into a 17 to hit.
That's the magic number, so he'll still
Okay.
hit, but it won't be a nat 20.
So you are going to take you're going to take 8 points of piercing damage. And you are going to take 15 points of necrotic damage as Gulthias bites into your neck. Your hit point maximum is also reduced by 15 points. Okay. So that was a special action to do that. And now it's Gulthias' turn. And Gulthias is going to as he pulls away from you, Drown, Talmud, and Cantriel, since you have a direct line on him, you see Gulthias' eyes seem to, as the Talmud's blood drips down his chin, Gulthias' eyes seem to roll back, but this time they look blood red. And he seems to almost be licking at the air. And Talmud, your blood from your neck begins to flow through the air in an arc and towards Gulthias. And I need a Constitution saving throw, Talmud.
Okay, that is a 21.
You almost will your blood to stop flowing, and it just drops. Whatever Gothias was attempting to do to you, you have stopped it. You hear his voice in your ear. One way or another, I will make you one of mine. Griveth, it is your turn.
Okay, so I hate heights. God damn it. So Griveth is like, come get me, you rat sucker. Let's finish this. You putrid husk of a man. Come get me. Come get me. It's me you want.
So for his action, Griveth yells at Gothias.
I yell in his general direction. All right. So Griveth, there's all this going through his mind. We got half our party's like spider monkeys trying to climb this tower. We got Drown and Talmud up there, and that's not good for them being alone up there. Drown's working, freezing these chains. He's got some plan going, and Yisha is going to drop at some point. And knowing what's going to happen, Cantriel, has assured us that she can save this friend of ours. So, but Griveth is like, this is just like, it's the seconds in his mind, but all this whole scenario, this whole bad scenario of like just horrible, just the tactical situation is horrible for him. This, like, all these scenarios are running through his mind, and like he's in these few moments where he's trying to decide, it's between, okay, do I try to scale up this tower, and get to the action because I'm no good here? But that may not be true, because Cantriel's down here. Yisha's going to fall. Undoubtedly, this creature has the ability to move in certain ways that are supernatural. So if I end up climbing up this tower, trying to get this thing, I'm leaving Cantriel and Yisha down here alone. I mean, Cantriel's not, she can take care of herself, but she's going to be by herself against this thing with Yisha. So I'm not real happy about just leaving her here to deal with that, because I can at least help her in that regard. So all this stuff is going through Griveth's head, and he decides he's going to wait. He's going to stay down here with Cantriel. He's not going to scale the tower. And this is one of the hardest decisions he's had to make, to just not help his brothers in combat. But he doesn't feel it. He doesn't think it's a good idea to leave Cantriel by herself to this thing. So I'm just calling up at him, just saying every curse I can think of, to get him down here. Now I would probably challenge him with my ability, but he's out of range. I can't reach him with the range. So I'm just gonna stay near Cantriel, within 10 feet, and I'm just gonna stay here and see what happens. So I am gonna hold my action though. So I'll hold an action.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll wait here.
One thing I did
neglect that I'm sitting here.
One thing I did absolutely neglect to mention, and really it's only Cantriel and Drown that would have noticed this, is there's one other difference between the illusory Gothias and the physical Gothias. And that is that he is wearing some sort of goggles over his eyes that have darkened lenses. We are at the top of the order. Gerithan, it is your turn. You are 5 feet from this ledge, from the underside of it. How would you like to proceed?
I would like to climb up the remaining 5 feet. And then, so you said it was about, what, a 10-foot gap?
Yep.
Can I use my psionic leap to propel myself from this wall and clear that gap?
So it's the opposite of a gap. It's the catwalk. So you're on the wall. The catwalk goes 10 feet this way, and it's 10 feet to the edge that you would be able to grab hold of.
Maybe do it like Dillon doing athletics.
That's why I
check.
said the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible thing along the kind of hanging along the ceiling.
Yeah. I don't know what I was picturing in my head. It was.
I think you were picturing
picture.
that the catwalk had.
I think that
space.
Yeah, I thought there might have been a gap.
You know, if only the dungeon master had prepared some kind of maps to give you guys an idea of what this looked like.
If only, right?
Oh, you know what? I didn't key those into the thing.
So if only he had prepared some maps. Oh, hey, look.
There we go. So that's the catwalk.
Okay. And I'm under it. So I'd be using. I mean, it would be probably a check, but the rest of my movement to get to that edge and climb over it.
Pretty much, and at this point, because you're going to be climbing on on the underside of the surface, you will have to make an athletics check.
Can I try and use my leap to
Yes.
push out and up and grab onto that edge instead of climbing under it?
Yes. You'll still need to make an athletics check.
I'll make your check. It's just cooler. It's cooler, okay?
Yeah, no, if you're going to have to roll and fall to your death anyway, you may as well look awesome right before it happens.
And I'm not going to fall to my death. We're looking at an 18.
DC 19.
No!
That's what you think.
Just kidding. No, that's perfect.
It's not a fall to your death.
You do one of those, you look back, you push off, and you're able to grab hold, and one hand just sort of slips, but you're able to quickly get hold. So you've basically spent 1 foot of your movement.
Yeah. So I can pull myself up.
Yeah, you're able to pull yourself up onto this catwalk, and you can see where Drown is standing up there sort of manipulating this watery tentacle, and Talmud is still struggling against what is the now you can now see as the entity, the vampire Gothias.
And he's how far away?
He is, based on where you would have come up, I'd say he's about 20 feet away.
Okay. Okay. Let me check something real quick, because that's an interesting idea. Where is it? I want to look. I don't know if there's a limit to how many times I can psionically leap in an action. It says no action. I guess it's just my movement. Because it only costs an extra foot of movement. Can I long jump?
Does it say once during your movement?
No, it says when you make a higher long jump.
I'm going to allow it just because it's the boss battle and it's just movement.
Yeah, I want to just run up and then just push myself to kind of make a leap to close the gap.
You're Anakin at the Battle of Mustafar leaping across the control room. That's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. And in midair, as I'm leaping towards him, I reach down and I withdraw both of my scimitars, and as I pull them out, they burn with hellish flames.
And we'll find out if you hit when we come back from a break, because I realized I took a break, didn't give you guys a break. We're going to take just a really quick break here. Let everybody else have the advantages of a bio break, refresh your beverages, whatever you need to do. We will have you roll that attack roll when we return. So everybody, thank you so far for everybody who has tuned in and is sticking around through this. We are going to continue with this in about 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the other side of this break. And we're back. And through all of your awesome subscription generosity, we are now over 100 subs once again. We have also broken 1,400 followers on the channel. So thank you all so much. We really
didn't
appreciate
break the
you.
Followers.
What's that?
We didn't break the followers.
We have broken 1,400
That would-
followers. If you
that
were
would
still
be
here, you were the
bad.
elite.
That's a big bill on therapy.
All right. Gerithan, you are hurtling toward the air with a psionic leap. Your scimitars have ignited, and you are making an attack on the vampire Gulthias.
Making so many attacks on the vampire Gulthias.
Hey, everybody go get a drink.
Hey, Zach, what are you doing?
What's that?
What is it that Gerithan's doing?
Gerithan's gonna unleash the torrent
There it is.
on this vampire guy. That's 1 domain die, 2 domain die, 3 domain die. This is all right. First attack misses. I didn't roll above a 10.
Keep in mind, a 17 hit.
Yeah. No, we weren't getting up there.
What is...
You need a new set of dice there, sweetie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've got a die in a special little place right now.
What? Never mind.
Never mind.
Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
The next
It wasn't
attack.
me this time.
The next roll is a 25 to hit.
That will hit.
And then a 16,
Will hit.
and then the last attack, another 16. So 3 hits. Oh yeah. My
Yep.
swords are flaming, so they do an extra d6 of fire damage.
Yep.
So the first attack is of course psionically charged, as the fire and the psionic power create this sort of gradient effect between purple and orange as I cut into this thing. And that's going to be 7, 12 points of scimitar and psionic, and then 2 more points of fire. So that's 14 on the first. Do you want me to break out the scimitar and the fire damage, or is it no difference?
No, it's not gonna matter.
Okay. And then 6. So for a total right now of 27 total damage. Wait. Plus 6.
33.
33 points.
Okay.
And I'm gonna action search. Really get that torrent going.
All right.
3 more attacks. First one is a re-roll because that's a natural 1. Oh my gosh, another re-roll because that's another natural 1.
Do I need to send you some more dice?
I'm gonna put those
I'm
ones
about
away.
to send him some new dice.
I'm
You
gonna
want to
just
roll high, right?
yeah. No,
Oh,
wait.
okay.
This isn't golf. Oh. I mean, I don't know what's happening.
What
Alright,
did
so
you do to piss off the dice gods, man?
I don't know.
You put them in a special place.
Put them in a special place. All
I
right,
attack 16 times. I hit twice.
so yeah. We're looking at another 16 to hit,
Okay.
and then
These dice are almost as bad as DM Jazzy Hands playing Baldur's Gate 3. Whew.
Ah, there.
It doesn't happen to be one of those D20s. It's like 0 to 9 twice. You know, one of the old style D10s.
Yeah, one of the first generation D20s.
yeah, that's no. I'm gonna re-roll that one too. No. Does a 13 hit?
Nope.
All right, I got one more. Hey, 17 will hit.
Okay.
All right, so 2 of those connect. And do they deal? All right.
Goblin Katie has sent a blessing to your dice.
Thank you.
Goblin
I
Katie
need it.
is a true dice goblin, so that's an actual dice blessing.
Math is hard. We're looking at 17, another 23 points of scimitar and flame damage as this fiery torrent is finally unleashed.
I'm going to say that with Gerithan leaping over and unleashing this torrent and basically swinging 6 times, connecting with more than half of those, that Gulthias under this barrage breaks his grapple on Talmud. There's just too much happening that it's almost reflexive as he's trying to fend off these attacks. Is that the end of your turn then, Gerithan?
Yeah.
As a legendary action, Gulthias is going to disengage from all of you, and he is going to move to a point that is halfway between around the edge of the catwalk. So he's sort of halfway between where Talmud and Gerithan are and where Drown is. So there's going to be basically 30 feet between each of the sets of targets. That's a legendary action. The heart flares once again. And because, Drown, you did so much damage to the chains, you basically only left all of the chains with a couple of hit points on them. This time, instead of one chain breaking, all 4 chains break. And Yesha begins to fall the 100 feet almost down to the floor below. This time, Talmud, as you hear the chains breaking, you watch in horror as Yesha is falling. I would like you to roll a d4.
Three.
The heart all sources of light in this room. Dawnbringer, the flames light. Are the flames still emitting from your scimitars, Gerithan?
Oh yeah.
All of these sources of light turn black. They still cast light, but it is a necrotic energy, identical to the black flame of the heart. And there will be consequences for this light. Meanwhile, Yesha is falling. You hear Drown Cantriel call out. Heads up. as you see all of the chains break and Yesha is on her way down.
And it's a reaction to cast Featherfall.
It
with
is a
Billows.
reaction.
So can I react yet? Or do I have to
Yeah.
wait? Then, hell yeah!
That's why I've been kind
Hell
of
yeah!
hinting towards you without saying it.
There
I
is a
assumed
creature
that's
in
what you were
free
gonna
fall
do.
within 60 feet of
Absolutely.
you. You could react.
Then I'm reacting. I'm like trying to like keep track of it. So yes, out come the billows, and you hear Cantriel kind of out of think right, and she just pumps the billows, and out comes Featherfall.
And though she appears to be unconscious, the form of Yesha slows its descent, and she does fall down at your feet. Unless you somebody down there tries to catch her, she will sort of fall harmlessly into a clump, not a clump. Into a clump of Yesha on the floor,
Heap.
unconscious. Heap is the word I wanted. Thank you.
Why, a clumping heap.
So that was a reaction. That was the lair acting. Talmud, I need you, before you take your turn, at the start of your turn here, I need a Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, I'm gonna spin a domain die. That's a little better. 16.
You succeed. You only take 3 points of necrotic damage from the necrotic light emanating from Gerithan's blades. It is your turn.
Okay, so he has released me, no longer leeching off of my neck at the moment. And he's moved. Okay, I missed. Did he move along the catwalk, or is he out in the opening?
No, he's on the catwalk.
Okay.
I can hear the song you're singing. Because I heard it in my head too.
After all. So I'm going to turn and I'm going to chase. You said he was about 30 feet?
Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, I kind of round the catwalk. Cousin Tildane, I don't think so, dearie. You've gone far enough. It's all going to stop now. And recklessly bringing Ghost Cleaver around to slice pieces off of the vampire. That's a 20. Biatch.
A nat 20?
Nat 20.
I figured with the biatch thrown on there that was probably
Sorry
not.
about that. Oops. And the second one is a dirty 20.
All right.
Sweet. All right. So the first one is going to be 11 points of magical slashing. Ooh. All right.
Wasn't that the crit?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That's
So-
automatic max damage plus reroll your damage dice. And that's 11?
No, I'm sorry. I rolled a 2, so that is a 23.
Okay. That sounds more appropriate.
Yeah. The second one, I'm going to spin the 5 dice. Jake. See what's behind door number 3.
You're going to
Max crit.
max crit.
I'm going to give him the ham. Shut up. I tried to hold it together. Damn it, Jake.
It wasn't me this
You
time.
got me with that one. This is a serious fight against a vampire. What are you going to do? I'm going to give him the ham.
Let's slip him the ham. Give him the old Oscar.
There it was. There it was.
All right, what's the damage on that?
That's max double.
Yep.
So, D12 and 24 is 33.
Okay. That's... Yes. Keep at it, Talmud. The more blood you draw from me, the more I will draw from you. And is that the end of your turn?
It is.
So he's going to use a legendary action. That is a 17 to hit. As he says this, and he lashes out at you and gets a bite in on your arm. That is going to be... whoops. That is 10 points of piercing damage. And 9, 10, 11, 12 points of necrotic. And your hit point maximum is reduced by 12 points. As he bites into you with a legendary action. Blood now seeping from 2 vampire bites on your person. Thorgarn, is your turn.
Okay. So I climbed up 35 feet last round, right?
So 20 feet or 15 feet will get you to the under edge of the that ledge.
And then I have to do
You have to do an athletics check to make your way across the next 10 feet.
my athletics is an 8. So let's... That's a 26.
Even with all that armor weighing you down, your determination is unmatched as you scrabble along the bottom another 10 feet to the edge. So you've used 25 feet of movement. And with that ridiculous athletics check, you're able to, I'm going to say you're able to pull yourself up as part of that. Ridiculously awesome, not ridiculous. It wasn't a ridiculous check. It was ridiculously awesome.
Oh yeah, I totally saw that. So that gives me 10 more. 10 more.
Yeah,
feet.
you got 10 more feet of movement. You're on the opposite side of the catwalk from Gothias.
So then, I guess I'll begin moving in that direction.
Okay. Just since we now have people sort of scattered around, I'm just going to jump to the map real quick, give you guys a quick update of where everybody is based on this here. Where the arrow's pointing now is where Thorgarn, you just came up here. Gerithan is sort of up just a little bit to the left of the north side here. Gothias and Talmud are sort of in this area, and over here would be where Drown is. The others are down below. That being Griveth, Yesha, and Cantriel. All right, Thorgarn. So you start moving over. I would say that puts you about 50 feet away from Gothias.
And that was my move and my action to get that far, correct?
Yeah, because you dashed to get that much movement.
Right. All right. So I'm good.
Okay. Cantriel.
The heart's from the dragon, right?
It is a dragon heart.
So it makes it dragon, yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's all I need to know.
I was
Bonus
trying to think of
action.
why you were asking that, and then I remembered.
Bonus action, I am casting Slayer's Prey, which is going to give me an extra d6 to the first shot. And then because I'm using Sempre Cavatina, the heart's going to be taking an extra 3d6 of damage because she's shooting at the heart now.
Yes, Sempre Cavatina has bonus damage versus dragons.
Okay, does a 19 hit?
A 19 does hit.
Okay, cool. I love my dice, by the way. They're nice to me. Okay, so that is going to be a total of 12, 15, 21. Hold on. Math net. 27 for the first shot.
Okay.
And then second shot, this time without Slayer's Prey. It's going to be 23 to hit. Yep. Okay, so then that is, it's still decent. So that's 12, 18, 24 this time.
All right. With these arrows hitting into the heart, it takes on an arrhythmic sound for a few moments, just sort of and it sort of resumes its pattern, but you can definitely all hear that the necrotic heart beats. It's begun beating faster. And do you have any other actions or bonus actions?
No, I'm done.
Drown, you are up.
Okay. How is Talmud looking as far as injuries and the like?
There's a lot of blood.
Yeah.
So, not great. I would say close to half.
But not quite capital B bloodied.
Nope, not fallen over yet.
All right. Okay.
And 27 of those points aren't healable, so.
Right. Yeah, a lot of that's not anything I can do much about. Okay. I will. You know what? I think Drown is going to follow up with Cantriel and just double down on trying to destroy what is got to be the heart of a Chardalon. So he's going to cast another Cone of Cold up into the heart.
Yikes.
Here's hoping that this does the thing. Okay, that's a good roll. Wow, 3 8s. 46.
Wow. Again, the heart crystallizes over. The flame dims incredibly. And it seems to take an extra beat for it to recover and for that frost to crack and the light to grow and the rhythm to pick back up again. And this time, though it's beating faster, the beats themselves are slower. The speed, if that makes sense, instead of being a healthy, strong, it's more of a all of you can hear and feel this. Talmud being the closest, you see a sudden panicked expression on Gulthias' face as he looks up and sees what's happening to the heart.
So before my turn ends, I will go ahead and burn another use of the Grasp of the Deep. The first tentacle sort of retracts into the floor and vanishes, and then bursts out near Gulthias and Talmud and strikes at the vampire. Ooh, hold it on the table, please. That will hit, and oh boy, that's 16 lightning damage.
To the heart, to hit the heart or Gulthias?
Gulthias.
16. I got confused here because in a weird twist, you guys have done almost identical damage to both targets.
Neat. And that will be the end of my turn.
All right. Gulthias looks very panicked. He's looking around at all of you. Talmud, he looks right at you and pushes past you, burning, or rather, well, no, wait, because that's after. So no, he's not going to push past you yet. But he's looking at Drown, who has just thrown these incredible spells up towards this. But he's also seen the arrows flying up toward it. And he looks down over the edge, and Cantriel, you see the sort of sun goggles covered face looking down at you.
What? Did you think I wouldn't shoot Grandpa? You left me without a family entirely. That heart means nothing to me.
He takes a deep breath. It means everything to me.
Exactly!
And there's a pulse of necrotic energy as Gulthias seems to draw power from the heart itself. And he is going to cast a spell. As he seems to, right before you, Talmud, he grows paler. You see lines of where what would be veins below the skin show. And he seems to be taking necrotic damage from the heart as he's drawing energy from it. And he looks down. Let me just make sure the range. Yes, 60 feet. As this, you see an arc of necrotic flame leap from the heart to Gulthias. He channels it through his body, and it points down as he points a finger at Cantriel. And I need a Constitution saving throw, Cantriel.
+3.
Thank you for that. +3. That's a 17.
Let me just double check what the spell save DC is. Where is it? That's what I thought. Okay, you succeed. So you're only going to take half damage as I roll 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll roll 2 more. That's 8, 16, 24, 30, 37, 44, 45, plus 30 is 75. So you're going to take 30... What is that? Math.
37.
37 points of necrotic damage as a finger of death slams into you. You feel this just wash of necrotic energy, and it's all you can do to maintain your foothold, but you do, and you resist most of this. Well, half of this energy that washes over you.
She'll grin up at him and she goes, just think, if the heart goes away, I'm the only one with his blood in my system.
Yes, the blood. And he is going to... He's going to move half his speed. So he's kind of between Gerithan and Talmud as he looks around and sees that pretty much every point of this catwalk, there is an enemy coming at him. And so he moves around and he looks over at you. What's that?
Can I swing at him as he moves away from me?
No, he can do that without provoking an opportunity attack.
Okay.
It is part of his legendary action. And that is going to be Gulthias' turn. And his legendary action, Griveth.
All right. Seeing that our friend is safe, resting on the ground, he just saw Cantriel get blasted by this horrible spell. The way has become clear. Griveth reaches into his back and pulls out one of the finely crafted javelins that Thorgarn gave him, the dwarven crafted javelins, and says, and thinks, wait a minute, this isn't my javelin. But no matter. So I got mine at Javelin Mart, so they're much better. But anyways, so he pulls out the javelin. He blesses the javelin with the power of Eldath, and he's going to throw this javelin up into the heart. That would be long range for the javelin. I don't know if having Hill Giant Strength would make any difference in that.
It won't change the range.
Okay. So let's.
So you'll throw that with disadvantage.
Okay. The javelin glows with holy energy as I smite on it. Here we go. So is that disadvantage then for max range?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I rolled 15 each time. So does that hit?
Cantriel's pointing up at the top. You guys do have 156 domain dice.
So you don't think 15 hits?
I haven't said whether it hits or not, but I've also drawn attention to the fact that you have domain dice.
Okay, let's roll it.
Which is the Dawnbringers equivalent of the DM saying, "Are you sure?"
Oh, that's much better. Okay. 24 with the worst roll.
Okay.
All right. So total damage for that is 30 points of damage.
30
Another
points.
javelin comes out.
All right.
Eldath, bless this javelin. Okay. Lowest roll is 21.
All right. Also
The
a
highest was
hit.
30. Okay. All right, let's roll damage. Come on, baby. Okay, that's 32 points of damage with a smite.
As this second javelin hurls up into the heart, the first one hits, and sort of as it hits, coming up at this low angle, it digs in and sort of carves a path through the heart. The second javelin follows as if on a tether and enters into the heart through that tear, ripping it asunder as it passes through to the other side, impaling into the ceiling. The heart begins to, this flame seems to drip like liquid from it, but as soon as it falls a few feet away, it just... Gulthias lets out a primal yell. No! As the heart begins to fall. The heart has been destroyed. By the time it reaches the ground where Cantriel and Yesha are, it is little more than a husk of mummified flesh. Dirt and other debris from inside the heart rains down. Soil was inside the heart. There's also a smattering of glittering coins and treasure that spills across the floor. Nothing that harms the unconscious Yesha. Gulthias is angered. Griveth, is that your turn?
That is.
As we draw to the top of the order, there's not anything he can do. Well, wait, no, he did that, so I can't do that. Yeah. Gulthias just gives out this primal yell, is extremely pissed off, and Gerithan, it's your turn. He's about 15 feet away from you.
All right. Let's go ahead and do the old, Yeah, I'm gonna run up on this guy.
Milking the cows. Yeah, got it.
I want to milk Gulthias.
Please use a domain die. I would like to use a domain die and take that comment away.
No, I want to. No, okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, my son.
We're looking at a dirty 20, and it is a dirty 20 for the first to hit. Even higher on the second. I'm going to use a domain die. I'm just going to miss on that one. I'm going to use a domain die. Hey, and I'm going to hit on that one. So we're looking at 3 hits.
Okay.
So the first strike, which of course is psionically charged, is going to deal. Ooh, I rolled a 9, which on my psionic die, which is as high as I can get before it goes down, which is good. So we're looking at 6 plus, so 8, 12, so 17 plus 8, so 25 plus 10, 35, 38 points. It's a nice broth of fire and psionic and scimitar damage as I just hack and hack and hack at this thing. Relentlessly, that's the word I'm looking for.
As you are swinging, Gulthias is making motions as if he were blocking melee attacks, like blocking hand-to-hand combat. And you're slicing into his arms and his hands, and he's just taking the damage. He meets every one of your attacks, but they're blades, and they're just cutting through him.
Does this look like the kind of thing where he's like, hurt me, it'll make me stronger?
No, it looks like he's hoping he can stop them, but you're just coming in too strong, and you're cutting through.
Yeah, swords do that to arms.
As you finish your attack with the heart dead, there are no lair actions, but the Gulthias has a chance to make a legendary action against you. He is going to. It's going to be. Does a 14 hit you?
No.
As he attempts to bite at you, but it's more of like a just angry snapping at you through the spray of blood and what's brimstone? That's the word I wanted. That's his legendary action. Talmud, it is your turn.
So I think I'm just going to close with him again, as long as he's still on the catwalk itself. Just keep chasing him down. Once again, bringing Ghost Cleaver around and swiping twice more. 27 on the first one. 21 on the second one.
Hit and hit.
All right. The first is going to be 14 points. Magical slashing. Yes, there we go. And then 19 points on the second one. 2 slashes.
This cannot be. This will not be.
You made a bad mistake, dearie. You were warned. You will be punished.
An 18 to hit you.
Aye, it will. He had advantage on that, by the way. Because I'm recklessly attacking him.
Well, then that becomes a 22 to hit you.
Still hits.
That's going to be 10 points of bludgeoning damage, halved to 5. As the only action he has is he just straight up tries to sucker punch you in the face. With very little effect. Thorgarn. Or wait, Talmud, are you done? I assumed you were done when he punched you, but Thorgarn.
Am I within 35 feet of this guy?
No, you'd have to close some distance. Because he moved partway between Gerithan, so you'd have to move at least 20, not 35 feet. You'd have to move about 10 feet to get within range.
So he's 45 feet away?
Yes.
All right, I will I will move 35 and I will chuck Forge Feint at him. Wow. It's a 3 and a 5. So the 5 is a 16, and I believe that hits. So I'm going to re-roll my 3. So it's a 16 and a 25.
Whoops. I just took an extra one away. Let me give that back. Yes. Hit and hit.
Ooh, those are nice numbers. 15, 22. Math. Hold on, 26. That is 40 points of damage.
Gothias has seen better days.
Well, if it makes him feel any better, he won't after today.
He's, as you're hitting him, he's preparing for the wrong attacks. For the first time, he seems overwhelmed by the number of combatants. And he seems confused. It's almost like he wasn't expecting so many people, so many of the melee people to make it up here and be able to engage him in hand-to-hand combat.
Did somebody not do their homework? I mean, honestly, if we had played this a little bit better, Talmud could have gotten 2 people up here, and Drown could have gotten 2 people up here. We could have all been bam right there. But it's cool.
All right. Cantriel.
Cantriel looks up to Gulthias and just points at him with a smirk on her face, and she's casting Hunter's Mark on him. And pulls the first arrow back. Not even wavering in eye contact, looking him straight on with this sardonic grin. Shut the fuck up. Yes! Hi! Guess what I got?
I think it's pretty obvious.
Was it a 12?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Sweet! I'm excited.
I got a crit. Okay. Oh, now I have to math and I'm tired. Hold on.
Oh no, you have to add up your critical hit.
Poor baby. All right, so that first one's 32 points of piercing.
All right.
Okay, and then she will go in for her second. And this time it is a 15 that misses, right?
A 15 will miss.
Okay.
And those close by would have noticed as that first arrow came up that he seemed perplexed that he was struck by this arrow. Drown. It is your turn.
Okay. I'm pretty far away, as I recall. So I will just, as a bonus action, I will move the existing tentacle over to where the melee is happening and strike at the vampire with it. That will be a hit for 5 points of lightning damage. And then I will... I'll move 30 feet closer, and as I go, begin unleashing crackling green bolts of energy. Eldritch Blast. That's going to be 3 hits.
Okay.
So 5, 10, 15, 20, 29 points of force damage.
Jeez.
That's my turn.
And he's just getting pummeled with this. And he is going to, as you pummel him with these, he looks at everyone and he turns in the opposite direction of where most of you are, and kind of where Gerithan came from. And he just suddenly moves quick with this same lightning speed. You keep seeing him move as he disengages. He's looking back at all of you, and you catch a bit of a grin as he looks down. He raises his hand, and you see the glowing fireball leave his hand as he launches it down toward Cantriel. Cantriel, I need a dexterity saving throw.
+3.
And he is going to cast that at 5th level. So that's
So I'm near her, so I'd have to make one too, right?
Oh yeah, keep forgetting you're down there. So yes, you also have to make that. Where are all my D6s?
I'm using a domain die.
Okay. So that was 8, 9, 10. So 9,
I got a 23.
10, 17.
I got a 20.
Oh wait, sorry, 26. I forgot the +3.
Woo.
17, 27, 29, 30, 33, 37, 38. So you will take 19 points of fire damage. This whole area seems to explode in fire all around you. Some of this treasure just kind of gets scattered around. The fire leaps across. You see Yesha's body gets hit and is burning. And some chunks of stone and flame strike this gate, this portal of ancient stone where you could see these images where the illusory Gulthias was first standing in front of. And Cantriel and Griveth, as the smoke is clearing and the fire, you look and you see that some of the stones have become dislodged and this portal has become unstable. And the images that are inside it, you see thump, 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 thump. It begins flashing in rapid succession. And you're seeing inside this portal various rooms that you've seen throughout the spire since you entered. Thump, thoo, 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 thoo. And you recognize some of them, and in your mind you just kind of put two and two together that most of these images that are flashing are all of these rooms that had the Gulthias tree carved into it. But then you see other images flashing. You see the Feywild. You see the Evangeline. You see Oakhurst. You see Blazing Dell. And you see unfamiliar locations all flashing rapidly. I'm talking this thing is like... And it's getting faster and faster. And... let's see. SMP3. It is now Griveth's turn.
All right. So this fiery holocaust that just hit Cantriel and I look over to Yisha. Is she... How does she look?
Probably the best word to describe her would be dead.
Oh, shit.
She was unconscious and took a 5th level fireball full on.
Oh, so I feel she's dead?
I mean, that's a pretty fair assessment even from this distance.
Okay, gotcha. All right. I can't let this innocent suffer for our sins. So I rush over to her, drop to my knees, and call down the power of Eldath to revive this poor soul. I'm going to cast Revivify on her.
Okay.
And that is my last 3rd level spell slot.
All right.
No more Revivify. But so yeah, I'm casting this on her, reviving her.
And that revives her to 1 hit point, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, as you do this, you sort of see this light energy seep into her, and through what looks like pretty severely burned skin and singed hair, you see her eyes flutter, and for a moment her eyes open, and she looks up at you, but she doesn't say anything.
You're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. Don't worry. I've got you.
From where his position is, Gulthias looks back over to all of you, looks down below, and then locks eyes with you, Talmud. I need what you have. And he begins to gesture, and you feel the blood once again pouring from your wounds, and it begins to arc across toward him, and I need a Constitution saving throw. Talmud.
Dirty 20.
Damn it. Okay. The blood just drops as Gulthias is unable to call it toward him.
And Talmud replies, "No, what you need are friends, dearie. That's why we're beating you."
Seems I have underestimated the ability of all of you. Gerithan, it is your turn.
Did he move? He moved away, didn't he?
He did. He moved past you back in the direction you came from. That would put him at about... You ran up on him. So that'd put you at 30 feet. You're 30 feet from him.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and relocate this torrent over to where he's at, and then let it do its thing.
Roll those attacks.
16. Oof. I'll re-roll that one, so I'm gonna use a domain die. Yeah, dirty 20. Another dirty 20. And then that's out of the box. Hey, 22. All 4 attacks hit.
All right.
First one, of course, psionically bolstered. This is kind of this blast as it hits. Good numbers. We're looking at 21 from the first hit. And then another 12, so 33. And then another 13, so 46. And then one more attack. A little lower. 46 plus 4 is 50 plus 3. 53 points! Booyah!
Okay. No matter what I do, I cannot get away from you. I may have underestimated all of you. But the Shardalan will never underestimate you. Talmud, it is your turn. As you are preparing to do whatever you're going to do, Gothias looks at all of you and just says, just know, if you strike me down, I have come back bigger and stronger before. As a loyal servant, a Shardalan will bring me back, and I will find my way to you. Talmud, it's your turn.
Talmud is going to turn towards Gothias and is going to move around the outside wall of this room and then charge directly at him. I would like to make an attack to shove him off of the ledge of this catwalk.
Okay.
It's a 16.
That is exactly what you need.
Good. So I don't know if that. I don't think it does any damage or anything. The push won't.
The push itself doesn't. It's the sudden stop.
Exactly.
Jake, I don't cast Featherfall. Mm-mm.
Talmud, you charge at Gothias, slamming into his chest. And there's this moment where we just see Talmud doof, 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 poof, and there's this sort of poof, as Gothias goes flying backwards. It's all silent. And you see him close his eyes, even through his shades, as they're sort of knocked askew. His eyes sort of close as he's sort of slow motion starting to fall. And then we switch to Griveth and Cantriel down below. The body of Gothias slams into the ground. It's probably not going to matter, but just... Oh my gosh, that's a lot of 6s. That's 10. That's 16. And 8 is 24. Okay. I just rolled 6, 6, 4, 3, 5. 24 points of damage from the fall. Gothias had 400 hit points total and was at 376 hit points. That is exactly the damage that was needed to kill him. I'm not even kidding. Right on the nose. Gulthias slams into the ground. At your feet, Cantriel. And he does not move.
She looks down at him and opens her mouth, and you see this flash of color streaking through her orb-like eyes as a jet of fire shoots from her mouth and sets the body on fire.
Because that's something we forgot to mention, that as Cantriel unlocked the Calamachus Calamachus sigil, that she has dragon's breath once per day.
What a perfect place to use that.
Oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that. That was fantastic. As and Gulthias's body turns to ash, and you see for a moment this ashen silhouette laying on the ground that just goes and collapses in on itself.
And as the flame finishes, she goes and blows it away.
And you are out of combat. All around you, Gulthias is dead. The heart is destroyed. Yesha has been revived by Griveth, though she's in bad shape. Drown, Thorgarn, Talmud, and Gerithan. As you look down, you notice this portal has been damaged. And you see this arcane energy of this portal going, and you can see the stones around this portal are beginning to crumble. What would you all like to do?
Our party.
We need to escape this place.
Can I mend the portal enough so the stones stop slipping?
Takes a minute to cast.
It takes a minute to do mending, and there's a lot of damage to this thing.
Okay, so that's a no.
So Drown will call down, "Can you catch us if we fall?"
Yes.
All right, so then he's going to go over and like gather everyone up and just sort of shove them all off and fall with them.
And she'll cast Feather Fall right as she sees him pulling everyone over.
Oh, hooray.
No, she might. No, I'm kidding.
I've had worse.
And suddenly it's the end of The Princess Bride, and Fezzik is down there to catch you all. But instead it's a reversal. It's Cantriel waiting to catch Drown.
Oh dear God.
I'm like, you're gonna catch Drown.
Come on, pretty lady.
Hello, lady.
So I want to max heal Yisha
So
with the.
Once everyone is all together, Drown is going to reach into his pocket and grab the sliver of the Evangeline's deck, touch the helmet, and activate it. We are teleporting the hell out of here. That is a load-bearing bad guy if I ever saw one.
All right. You teleport with this sliver of the deck of the Evangeline. You know exactly where you're headed. You all feel this familiar tug at your gut as you are lurched through time and space, it seems. And suddenly, you no longer feel the deck, or rather the stone and debris. That cold necrotic energy lingering is no longer there. As you suddenly slam into the wooden deck of the Evangeline and immediately begin sliding across the deck as it's canted. You all feel the sudden extreme cold as you are sliding down the deck of the Evangeline. You all slide about 20 feet, landing in a jumbled heap in a snowdrift. At the edge of where you have landed, you sort of catch yourself and you begin to look around, and you see that the Evangeline's bow is canted up out of snow, and leaning at an angle And looking to your left, to where you slid across this central deck area, you see shattered pieces of deck boards. And you realize you are standing, or rather have fallen onto, the front half of the Evangeline. As the snow and blizzard winds whip around all of your confused faces, the camera begins to pan wide. We see that the front half, the bow and half of the central deck of the Evangeline are perched on the edge of a snow-covered mountain in the middle of a raging blizzard. And that is where we're going to end Season 4 of the Dawnbringers. And Season 5 will return with Rime of the Frost Maiden. Dan, please confirm that I did not coach you to teleport to the Evangeline.
No,
but that is
all.
exactly what I wanted you to do.
Well, I mean, yeah, well done.
And
that's awesome.
You are all now somewhere in the midst of a blizzard on half of the ship that you left behind. But you are 100% certain that the vampire Gulthias has been destroyed.
Blizzard in the middle of the night, right?
Yes.
Which
And
is weird, since it was daytime when we were adventuring.
I almost imagined, like, with this, like, super wide shot that we can see that the, like, half a ship is on the side of the mountain, we just hear, like, the echo of Talmud's voice. Oh, thank the gods. Dry land.
And as you say that, and we're, like, really high up to where you can just barely make out the Evangeline, we see a massive shape of dark shadow. Almost, it's dark, but there's white scales as we see a massive white dragon passes in front of our view. And lost to all of you below in the call of the storm is the dragon scream, like the end of so many episodes of Game of Thrones. That's where we're going to end. And also, you are all now level 12. Because of course you're going to level up at the end of the season, and you're gonna go into an adventure module that technically you're already leveled out of. So this did not go at all how I thought it would go. No matter how many ways you plan for things to happen, quite frankly, the way Gulthias is built is he's primarily meant to keep a distance from everybody and deal with spellcasting and other things. Was not expecting everybody to so easily be able to get up to him. And I also forgot about Drown's ability to do Dimension Door. I don't know why I forgot that. But
I don't think I've used it yet.
there was a lot of stuff that, I mean, I stuck within the rules of what he could do, and there's only so much I could do. I love the fact that he had exactly 400 hit points, and you had done the exact amount.
That's the friggin' best.
It happens occasionally, but it's so awesome when it happens.
And then that surprise, that little twist at the end that, oh yeah, remember Dragon Blooded? That was awesome. Nicely done, V.
Yeah, that was incredible, V. Take a point of inspiration for that incredible ending. So, Season 4 of the Dawnbringers. As we said, Season 5 will be Rime of the Frost Maiden. Be sure to check, if you're not already following me on Twitter, or if you're not in the Discord, hit, I think you can do ! Discord, and that will get you in there. Get you a link to the Discord. But also follow me on Twitter at @MTD_Jake. Over the next couple weeks, I will be releasing the new artwork for the overlays and the promotional artwork for Season 5. And we are going to let you know when we are going to return. As is a Dawnbringer tradition, we are going to take a break of at least 2 weeks. just for recovery and recuperation. And it's just nice to have a break of a couple weeks in there. And we're going to talk amongst ourselves. We will probably have at least one shot with this group. Maybe with one of the Dawnbringers running the adventure. We'll see what happens with that. But I would say at this point, it's probably going to be that either that last Thursday or the first Thursday of November when we return with season 5. Just sort of throwing that out tentatively. But I appreciate these players so much. They put so much into this game, and we all do. And it's just nice to be able to take a breather for a little bit after that. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for the subscriptions, and all of the support that you've thrown throughout. I would like to point out that you guys had at one point 180 domain dice. You ended this at 151. So everybody kept that going, and they're still keeping it going. Another subscription coming in. D&D Jordan just keeps throwing gift subscriptions out left and right. There's been quite a few people, too numerous to list at this point, I think. Well, no, I can see them right here. D&D Jordan, Cajun Kevin, cheering and gifting. Tamiko had gifted, Cole Sparks gifted, Goblin Katie subbed, Gaz 2742 subbed, Tamiko I think gifted a couple. Yeah, there's Cajun Kevin's gift, and the Big Bearded Nerd and Cole Sparks and Dean Jordan all resubbed. So thank you all for that. And of course, the patron saint of Domain Dice, Joey P, aka Chameleon Fam, showing up at the top and dropping 20 domain dice on y'all. So we so much appreciate the love and support from everybody. As a reminder, there are other things happening here on the channel. Tune in tomorrow night at 10 p.m. for Eastern for Alan's Curse of Strahd campaign. The Fang Club, they're just running a fantastic game on Friday nights right here on the channel. And then Saturday I will be over on Master the Game on YouTube with the DM's Lair, Master the Game, Awkwardly Nerdy, and WASD 20 for our monthly Descent into Avernus campaign that Juice runs for us over on his channel. Sunday night, I can be found over on Talon and Claw's Twitch channel, Talon and Claw, for our Sea of Thieves video game stream that we do for a couple hours. That'll be at 9 Eastern as we sail the SS Failboat and try not to get sunk too many times. We've been getting better. And then... yeah, just stay tuned for all the other great shows that are coming up that I've mentioned. Next Friday, I believe, 1 week from Friday, the Chaos Crew returns to Nerdarchy live channel with Ted at the helm, V and I running our Barbarian Turtle, and that's me, and Cantriel's Fire Kitty, along with Megan and Asa and Fragginator. Fantastic game. So that's a wonderful game as well. Just lots of great stuff going on. And finally, I just want to once again thank these amazing players and my friends just for the awesome characterizations and the way we trust in each other all around the table as we develop these characters. And this season, we had a lot of big reveals for the characters and the overarching plot. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen as we move out of, once again, the dungeons and move into a more open environment. That didn't go so well with Saltmarsh. We'll see how things work out in the frozen north when we return, but I genuinely thank each of you for just all of the work you put into these games, playing your characters to the fullest. So thank you, Scotty, Dan, V, Zach, Ted, Jeremy, and a thank you to M out there, who we still eagerly await for when they can return to us. And that'll kick off another little side quest. But yes, thank you to all of you, without whom it would just be me talking to myself for 3 hours. With that, we are going to end Season 4 the same way we end every other game. And you can say it with me if you want.
Metadata!
Matilda.
Yeah.